Listening discretion is advised. This podcast may contain graphic content, triggering themes, adult language, and unapologetic book spoilers. We don't hold back because real stories are gritty, raw, and worth telling. Your mental health matters. There is no shame in seeking help, support, or stepping away when you need to. This is Slowburn, where we go deep, move slow, and let the fire speak.
There's something about stories that don't just pull you in, they drag you under a little. Magic, danger, tension, characters you probably shouldn't trust, but absolutely do anyway. Today I'm sitting down with Stephany Wallace, an international best-selling author who lives fully in that space, where romantasy, paranormal worlds, and unapologetically intense relationships collide. We're talking vampires, wolf shifters, dragons, witches, and the kind of stories that don't just give you a romance, they give you obsession, power, and a world you don't want to leave. Because some authors write love stories and some build entire universes where love is just one part of the chaos. So get comfortable. This is Slowburn, where we go deep, move slow, and let the fire speak. Let's go into it. Hello, Stephany. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? I love that
Good.
intro. That was amazing. I was like, whoa, impressed. I love it.
So I'm going to start off. I'm just going to start off and jump into it. And I'm going to say it. Your
Okay.
books are not soft. They're not for the weak. They are intense. So where does that come from? Like,
Reality, our world, everything that we lived in every day. I always say, and some people take it the wrong way, I guess, but I always say that I don't do fake stories. I'm not here for like fluffy fantasy. You need the romance, of course, and you need the magic and you need all that. But um I like when stories kind of like drag you in and you feel what's going on, you relate, whether it's something that happened to you or that you can tell, it's something that would happen to somebody else and it makes you feel something. Um so I always try to put a little bit of me in like every character and every story, like something that I actually went through, something that I lived through, because I feel like when you see those characters go through something that it's human or something that is so real and come out triumphant on the other side, it kind of gives you hope that you can do it too. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like even though maybe you already did in your life, but you didn't step back to realize what you accomplished, what you survived. So
100%.
I feel like, right. So I feel like, connecting to a world that's not your own. And even though there's dragons or wolf shifters or whatever there is, you can actually feel that pain that the character is feeling or that happiness or that, yes, she freaking did it, she kicked his ass.
Right?
Um, it's something that, maybe we don't get the chance to do in our lives, like maybe we don't get the chance to get that revenge, if that's the word that, we can use, or that justice, or that you did this to me and now you're going to pay,
Mhm.
So I feel it's important. At least we get it in the books and, that's something that we can go like, ah, yes, it happened.
Give somebody that closure.
Yes,
Those
definitely.
pieces that we don't have. So you said like walking into our worlds a little. There's a conversation that we've had in the past that Steph and I have had. We've had with a couple different authors, and we get some kind of like mixed feedback on it. So I'm curious your take on it. We have
Okay.
talked before about, as an author, do you feel that readers are going more towards that fictional love, right? Where it's all sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. You know that HEA is coming. It's all like this tied up in a perfect bow. Or do you think people now are drawn to what is more real? What feels like could really happen in real life? Because we know that real love is messy and chaotic and
Right.
ugly and can be hurtful at times. And right. So, do you think readers are leaning more now towards the real type of love versus that fluffy, happy type of love.
Right.
Does
I
does
mean,
that make sense?
yes, that makes perfect sense. I think, I mean, there always has been and there always will be a world for everyone, right? Like there always would be um, a path for whatever it is that you like to read. And I have come across those stories where it's like, yeah, it's nice. Maybe the plot is really good. The hot is hot. Everything is like clicking, but at the same time, it's so superficial. Um,
Mhm.
I feel people enjoy reading more when you really drag them around in the story. You know what I mean? I know there will always be people who say, I want to escape what's happening in the world right now. I want to escape what's happening in my life. I don't want anything that's going to make me cry or whatever because I'm living that right now, right? There's always
Right.
going to be that reader that's going to say, I just need to step away from reality altogether. But at the same time, I see a lot more, the memes and the books that, the people sharing the stories, oh, can you recommend a book? Yes, this book destroyed me. Here you go. Read it. It's so good. You know what I mean?
Someone ripped out my heart.
Yeah, it ripped out my heart. It's like, what do you mean? Oh, yes, it's good. You have to read it. So I feel like the more we connect as humans with whatever's happening in the story, the more we're attracted to it. So I do feel like there's been even if that's taking us out of reality because you're still in this fantastical, magical world with dragons and with everything else. Um, I feel like the majority of people need that connection. You know what I mean? Need to see that you can go through hard things and still come out on top and, get your justice or get your revenge or however you want to call it. It's different things for different people, right? But I do
Right.
feel like right now there's a shift and, the darker or the harder or the more realistic the story is in the sense of what the characters are going through and how it's connecting with real life, I feel like people are looking more for that and enjoying them.
Yeah, definitely. I I always go for a good morally gray man. That's always my go-to.
Yeah, I know, right? No, nobody's
Does he need a
perfect.
soul? Really? Why is that even important? So walk me into your worlds a
He's not
little.
good. It's okay.
I feel like the morally gray always toe that line, right? Because to the rest of the world, they're not, but for her, they are. Like, I think that's
Right.
what that draws to me. So
But
walk me
if you
into.
think about it, oh, sorry,
Uh-huh.
I
No,
didn't
go ahead.
interrupt.
No,
If you
get your
think
rock.
about it, morally gray is just, again, a step into reality because nobody's perfect. And what you consider maybe to be morally right or morally wrong, for me, it's only the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Like it really depends on where you're coming from or the experiences that you've gone through. You know, and anybody who's outside can never say what you're doing is good or is bad, right? Because they're outside. They are only looking at one point of view of what you're going through. So I think that's kind of like where it was born, you could say,
Mhm.
because nobody wants a goody two shoes either. You know what I mean? Like you want somebody who's complex. You want somebody by your side who's gonna risk everything to protect you. And if somebody goes down in the process, oh well, too bad. They why were they messing? Trying to hurt you or messing up with you in the first place. So
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people say, "Oh, morally gray because he kills or because he does that," but at the same time, it's like, wouldn't you kill for somebody you loved? You know what I mean? Like, there's always that step in which you say, "For this person, for my kids, for my niece or for my nephew or whatever, like, I don't give a fuck." You know what I mean? Like, you get in
Right,
the
right.
way and you're going down. You know?
My son and for my 3 god kids, 100%, right?
Right. Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
I
And
would.
then
No
it's
doubt
the
about
thing
it.
of right. And then the question begs the question, okay, so was it morally great or was it morally right? Because because you're not gonna hurt somebody else, you're not gonna let them hurt somebody that you love, right?
Mhm.
I mean, at least that's what I think.
Well, and I think it goes back to that age-old question, at what point, who got to decide what was right and what was wrong,
What was wrong? Right. Right.
right? Like, At what point? Like,
Absolutely right.
who made these decisions? And don't get me wrong, I don't think we need to walk around with the purge and just start killing everybody. But like, I mean, like,
Right.
who decided what was right and what was wrong and what was an offense upon others and what wasn't, right? Like, I feel like these days, and I'm gonna lump like society in as a whole, and I'm sure somebody's gonna be offended by it,
Yeah.
but we're a group of people that get offended easily. Like, people are getting their feelings hurt by some of the smallest things,
Hmm.
uh, but also by some of the biggest things too, right? Like, I do think there are things that people do and say that are hurtful, and then you
Yeah.
meet some people that you do like the simplest thing, and you can't figure out where the hurt came from, right?
Right. What
Like,
went wrong? Hmm.
I'm at work and again, I can't fix my face. This is what my face looks like.
Right.
I'm I'm not a morning person. I'm not like the bubbly like, "Hey," it doesn't matter how many cups of coffee I have. I could have it like put in with like an IV and I'm not getting any more excited than I am at this exact moment
At this
at
moment, yeah,
8 PM at night, right? Like,
it's not gonna happen.
and so, sitting there, right, and someone walked up to me and they were like, "Hi," and I was, like, trying to work through my lunch and do a couple other things, and I was like, "Hey," and they were like, "Ugh, every time I see you, you just seem like I'm a thorn in your side," and I was like, I greeted you like I greet absolutely
Everybody, right? Like,
everybody else. I don't understand. Like, I'm sorry? Like, I and I feel like that's just somewhat of, like, the world we kind of live in now, right? Like,
yeah,
somehow,
that
some
is.
way, like, we're gonna offend somebody in the middle.
I mean, I think it also comes from two things. One, the expectation. And listen, I used to have that too until again I hit my 40s and I was like, no, this is not how it goes.
40s are the
Comes,
turning point.
yeah, it comes one, it comes from the expectation of that people need to treat us the same way that we treat them. And although if you treat everybody amazingly, sure, they should, be nice to you too, and they should treat you amazingly too. There's a completely different person. So you can expect them to treat you the way that you would treat them. Do you deserve to be treated the same way? Yes, of course. That's not the point. The point is that we kind of grow up with this expectation that people are going to treat us and they're going to be, nice just because we're nice. And again, it comes back to that thing of we're just spectators, right, in somebody else's life. So you have no idea what the person is going through, what is not, what's happened or what hasn't happened, what triggers, what they've experienced before, what triggers do they have. So yeah, maybe your regular resting beach face, you know, insulted her because maybe there's something in her past too that it just triggers and she
Right.
just wants people to treat her the way that she treats others. But she hasn't gotten to that point yet where she realizes, well, they don't really need to. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, they don't really need to treat me the way that I treat them. It would be nice, you know, if they're as nice to me as I'm to them. But at the end of the day, they're a completely different world. So, like, who the hell knows? You
Right, and
know?
in my head, I'm not being mean or rude, like, to me, I'm
Yeah,
responding,
exactly. Yeah,
like, I don't know, and it's just I think there's so much with perception too, like, it's how we perceive. I think it's the same, like, you and I could read the same book, and we could perceive it completely
completely
differently, get a
different.
different
Yeah.
moral out of it, get a different theme, get a whole, like, this character was gonna do this, and, the author might be like, "Not at all."
Right,
And I
right.
think it's this whole perception piece,
Of
right?
what it should be. Right.
Right. But I also think that I learned one of the biggest lessons I think I've learned throughout life, excuse me, after being in I was in an abusive relationship in my 20s and then
Oh, I'm
growing
sorry.
through that and being a single parent and, all the things. And I think that all of that shapes into the person I am today in my 40s, right? Like
Right.
I as bad as some of those experiences ended up being, it's nothing that I sat here and said, "Oh my god, I wish none of that happened." Right? Like, because I sit there and I say, "You know what? I've learned from all that. I've grown from all that. I'm still
Yeah, you
growing in my
surpassed
40s
it. You rose above it.
from all of that." But I think the biggest thing I learned, and one of the things that, like, my mom has, like, always tried to like drill into my head, and I think it took until like my late 30s or early 40s to really get in there, was quit expecting you from other people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that has always been, and like
Yeah.
I said, I think it took until probably 3 or 4 years ago before that lesson actually like
Sunk
sunk
in.
into my right? Like
Yeah.
what that really meant. Like
Right.
stop expecting there she is, the dog. Always the dog. She's gonna lay
Just
on
a second. Let
everything.
me turn on the air for a second. Because
Yeah.
I am so freaking hot right now. And I'm just like drowning. So it's like, let me just
The
share a
Midwest
bag.
is bipolar
I
with
am
weather. It
sweating.
was 90 degrees
And
yesterday and now it's 50 degrees today. So who knows what's
it's
gonna stop.
crazy. It's, oh God, the same here. It's like 86 one day and then 43 the other. And you're like, can you
No, we're
please?
not
Like,
cold.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so walk me into your worlds a little because you have vampires, you have shifters, you have fae. Like, where are we
I have
starting?
everything a little. I think so. Yeah, I think I've done everything. Angels, witches, dragon riders, dragon shifters, fae, vampires. I think pretty much. Pretty much.
Have you made up your own yet? Your own
Yes, I
paranormal.
have. I
I love
have. I
it.
have made up my own race more than once.
Ooh, I love it.
Well, yeah, more than once. My vampire series, Dynasty of Blood. This is a huge spoiler, but there's one of the characters, I'm not gonna say which one, so I don't spoil it too much if somebody says, ooh, I'm gonna read it, you know? One of them is actually was created by all the supernatural races. Like they came together, the kings or high leaders or whatever of each race, and they decided to create an unbiased kind of like hunter or that would help and protect humanity from the evils in their own races, in all their own races. So they all gave their blood and they created this new race which has it has abilities from each one of them because of that, because of what they did, because of the pact or whatever they did with the blood. So it's interesting. I like it.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. What has been your favorite character to develop?
Ooh. Oh my God, that's how dare you? I'm just kidding. How dare you do that to me? Wow. I mean, character itself, I don't know. I love them all. I really like I think I've written pretty much everything because since I like people being able to relate to the characters, I'm very specific about the personalities that I give them. You know what I mean? Like you have introverts, you have extroverts, you have, a girl has no idea she has powers. And then you have the one that, it's been, a badass for centuries. You know what I mean? Like I try to do it all. Also because I'm the kind of person that gets tired of like reading the same thing, you know what I mean? Or watching
Mhm.
the same thing.
Right.
So I am very specific about personality. So I'm pretty much done it all. But I do like I don't know if it's because I'm writing her right now, but the girl from my current series, she is not just a badass, because she is, but she is arrogant about, you know what I mean? She knows very well who she is. There's no doubt in that. You know what I mean? She grew up knowing who she was, what that entailed for her, the responsibilities the weight that gave her, that that put upon her, and she just dealt with it. She was like, okay, like this is who I am. This is what I'm meant to do. Like this is what my destiny is gonna be. There's no options. There's no, do you want to do it or do you want to? I didn't choose it. Too bad, right? Like this is what it is.
Right. Here we are.
So because of that, she is and she has not only prepared for what her role is going to be in the future, that she knows what she's going to have to do, but she knows who she is. She knows she's a badass because she's trained, she's sacrificed, she's done everything that she needs to do, even before getting to the point where she can actually do something about, what she's meant to do. You know what I mean? So I really like that about her because, I am sure a lot of women out there feel the same way. You don't really know yourself in the way to be even a little bit secure, arrogant about who you are. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot of years, usually for us to be like, okay, this is who I am. And if you like it, good. If you don't like it, you can fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, you know
Correct.
where to go. I don't give a fuck. And that's the way she is. So I absolutely love that about her, because she is she has a temper and she just doesn't allow anybody to, put her down or get in her way or anything. And I really admire that about her. And I think, in a way, I wrote her that way because I'm finally in a point of my life in which I am that way. Like I finally achieved or climbed the mountain and I'm on the other side in which I know who I am. I know how much I'm worth. I know you know what I mean? So like, the insecurities and everything else is like I'm pushing that away because that's not gonna be me anymore. Like I am secure in myself now.
Right, right.
So yeah, so I kind of love that about her because I mean, I don't know about you, but I wish I would have been like that my entire life.
100%. 100%. I feel like I feel like the insecurities were way strong in my high school years, through my
Yeah,
20s, and then towards the end of my 30s, I started to kind of feel more like, okay, like
like
I'm
yourself, like you were
if
growing into who you were.
yeah, like me, don't care. You don't want to be my friend,
Right.
fine. Don't be my friend. You don't want to date me, fine. Don't date me. Like, like it's just been that
Yeah.
whole whirlwind of
Journey.
things,
Yeah.
right? And like now I'm settled in that like I'm happy single and I'm happy dating. Like, like it's not a forced way of life
Yes. It's
at
not
this
because you
point,
have to
right?
do it. Yeah.
Right. Right. It doesn't feel like it completes me to be one way or the other. And I think that that's
Right.
nice. And I am all about like a strong female main character. I think one of my biggest like DNF categories would be if it is a whiny and weak female main
Yeah.
character who
Yes.
feels the need that they have to be taken care of. And not even so much that, it's just the constant like whining or the constant, oh, I'm just
Right.
not good enough. Or like
Yes.
I've read many a series where it's like boy meets girl meets boy doesn't think he's good enough, girl doesn't think she's good enough. So they
Oh,
never
dear.
get so they don't get together for
Make
a
it
really
right.
long time. Yeah, like and I'm where Steph is like a big slow burn person. I am like a wham bam thank you ma'am by like the third page and I'm perfectly fine. Like they don't even have to get together in the end. Like it could be somebody completely different. Like just go for it. Like have at
It's
it.
a
Whore
joy.
yourself out through the whole book. That's fine.
You don't care. You know what's funny? I'm like both. I do hate that kind of character too, but at the same time, I hate the girls. And we used to see that a lot. And I don't know if it was like a theme, like a trope or something, but the girl that makes like she puts everybody in danger herself because she makes a mistake. Like the stupidest, biggest possible mistake, she's the one that does it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? What do you
Or they think that they're sacrificing themselves for everybody they love. So really it just puts everybody in danger
No,
and still the
I
whole building's
cannot.
gonna blow up. Like
Yes. No,
because
no,
you
no. I
just
can't
didn't
deal with that.
listen for 5 minutes and sit where you were supposed to sit. Like,
Yeah.
I like a good mafia romance, and that seems to happen a lot. Like, just like
No, I can't stand that. And I remember reading like even from my favorite authors, and then the girl, and then like the evil guy or whatever sends her a message, you have to meet with me because if not, I'm gonna kill everybody or whatever. And she's like, I know I shouldn't
and
go.
come
Everybody's screaming at me that I should not go, but I'm gonna go. What do
along,
you mean?
right? Come
And I'm not
along,
gonna
sneak
tell
out.
anybody.
And they always sneak
Or
out and somehow find like $10 million somewhere. Like, where's that guy? Like,
you
where's the
know, so
guy who has the safe that's my birth date? Excuse me.
right, right. But
You may
also
volunteer as tribute right now.
right, exactly. Also, that scene that was in like every single book where, there's like a danger above anything that she could possibly deal with, maybe because she still doesn't control her powers or doesn't know what she's doing or she doesn't know she has powers. And the guy's like, run, like, he'll take care of it or whatever, but he's like, get out of the way or run or whatever. And she's like, no, because I'm not going to be alone. Go run. You can't
Run,
defend yourself. Just get the fuck out of there,
run.
It's just,
Well,
yeah.
in my 20s, and what you're saying reminds me of in my 20s, I had a friend and she's great and she's wonderful. And we drifted apart like over the years, but still a great human. And she came to our house
Yeah.
one night and we all heard this noise. And like a handful of us ran to the window to look out. And she was like, this is why white folk die in the movies.
Right. Why are you going out to see what's going on?
And I'm like, that's exactly what's happening in these books. Because she's like, no, I can't go. I need to stay here with you. And I'm like, this is why you die. Right there.
And this is exactly what's happening. The hell were you thinking? Like, what can you possibly
Just
do?
go. He's
You have no
willing to
powers,
sacrifice
or you can't
himself for you.
control
Just
them, or
run
you don't know how to
away.
use them.
Just run. It's
Just run,
okay.
girl.
He's taking one for the team. Okay? Taking one for the team. It's fine. Everything's fine.
That's exactly it. But also, how you say that Steph is Slowburn and you're like, just let it happen. Just go for it.
Go.
I think I'm a little bit in the middle.
Meet him in the
because
bathroom. It's fine.
I do like that, like the need, the tension, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it needs to happen in book one. Like if by the end of book one, they haven't at least destroyed a bed, I just can't, you know what I mean? It's just, the book is not for me. It's just not
Why
for me.
are there
Something,
still
has to
things
be something.
intact? Like, I love a good
What are they
enemies
waiting for?
to lovers. That tension with a good enemies to lovers, there is nothing like some hate sex. Let me tell you. Like,
I know, right?
go through, like, the tension that goes along with that. Like, and the way you hate yourself when it's done because you liked it so much. Like,
Oh, that's so
like,
funny.
that's so great. But I love, like, when I read, I love obsession, that burn it all down, like, energy, that
Yes.
whole, like,
Yeah.
if he looks at you, I'm going to leave his eyeballs in, like, the little jewelry bowl on your nightstand. Like, that's, like, that is the feral energy I go for when I am
Right.
reading. Like, I want where the male main character is ready to like cut some hands off because like he danced with
Yes.
her, like,
And
you
I
know,
don't expect anything less.
like, or like he's like, what hand did he touch you with? And she's like, what? He's like, what hand? And she's like, I don't know.
Right.
And then he's like, I'm gonna cut it off. I'm like,
He's
that.
gonna die.
But
Yeah.
I think that's what hooked me in Hunting Adeline. Like the day she got hands on her front porch, I was like, that's it. That's the book for me. Right there. Right there. Not the stalking, not the like, it was the hands on
Not
the
everything else.
Yeah.
That's what did it for you.
Yeah. Not the sweet way he cut all the thorns off the roses. I don't know. No,
Aw.
the hands on the porch.
Bo.
Right? Right. It was in a box. And he said he warned her. He said, I told you. I told you if you go out with him and you let him touch you, this is what was going to happen.
What's gonna happen?
And I am a
Oh
man
my
of
God,
my
too
word.
funny.
And I said, Zaid Meadows is the man for me. Right there.
Where have you been my entire life?
Then I sit there and I think, oh my God, if that happened in real life, I would probably like
Yes, run.
cry and
Run the
curl
other
in the
way.
fetal position and call the police.
911.
Be like,
Hello?
what is happening?
My God, that's too funny.
Please
Yeah.
no, I'm not like that fucked up in my head in real life. Like that's
You know-
not it. It's just my reader brain. Just my reader brain.
I know. But you know what I think it is? I think I don't, that's not something I read. I don't judge anybody. It's just something that I can't handle. Just flat out, I can't. But I think it's the idea of, in some way, somehow, impacting that man, you know what I mean? Not maybe changing him completely, but making him better. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
every woman has that, he changed for her kind of thing. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So even though he'll still be a badass at the end, he'll still pretty much cut the hand out of whoever dares to come near her and touch her. He is better. He is sweeter. Like he discovered his romantic side with her or something like that. You know what I mean? I think it's the idea of she made him better that,
That
he
redemption
starts
arc.
being this absolute monster. Right. And then at the end, it's just a little bit of a monster. Not completely, it's
A little.
a tiny little bit.
So do you think that, though, that is why so many are collectively obsessed with that morally gray character right now? That, like,
I think so. I think so because, it becomes him not doing those morally great things just because he's traumatized or enraged or tired or whatever it
no.
is, but doing it for her because to defend her, to protect her, to avenge her. You know what I mean? Oh, because he will burn the world down for her, you know, if that's what
Mhm.
she needs.
Right.
Fuck everybody else. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's like, yes, because everybody wants that in their life. Everybody wants a man that is like, you touch her, you lose your fucking like, don't you?
Correct. Dig out
Everybody
your
wants
eyeballs.
somebody
Fine.
that will protect the hell out of you and won't stop. Is like, I don't care. I'm not protecting her, you know?
But at the same time, isn't like creepily possessive? Like, still lets you have a life and go out, right? Like, they're just weirdly possessive behind the scenes, right? Like that whole like, don't tell me what I can wear. Just go cut off his hands.
Yeah, no, no,
Like,
no. That's
that
too
kind of
much.
thing. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care if
And
you kill
oddly
somebody,
independent
but
like
don't be
that,
telling me what I can and cannot do.
right? Don't tell me what to do, damn it, unless it's in the bedroom. Then that's a different story.
Then it's exciting. Otherwise,
Then
no.
it's different. So if one of your characters showed up in real life, who are we immediately worried about?
If one of my characters showed up in real life, who are we? What?
Immediately worried about.
Like what they're gonna do?
Yeah. Who is the breaking news? Breaking news. Who are we immediately worried about?
Dante. Dante from Forged by Fire. He's literally a shadow daddy. And he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. As long as she's safe, he doesn't care who he kills, how many people he kills. There's even a part that I love because in the first book, because she's like, something happened, they attacked him or whatever, and she passed out because she was like really hurt. And then when she finally comes back and she's like, "Did you kill anybody?" And he's like, "I mean, like it depends. It depends how you see it.
What's
You
your
know, I mean,
definition of that?
like, do you want the truth or do you want?" She's like, "Please tell me you didn't kill." He's like, "Well, I mean, not too many. I wanted to kill them all, but I only killed like 3. Don't you worry about it."
Right. I think
And then
that's
she's
the
like,
whole like pull to like fourth wing, right? Like when Violet's
"Right."
in interrogation and like Mama Sorengale is like, how many of them did you kill? And Zayden's just like, all of them.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Whoever was in
All
my
of them.
way.
Like,
Right. And
they
then
were
she
in
goes,
my
"But
way.
like,
She was in trouble. Like, they're all dead.
yeah, exactly." And then she goes, "Is like, but you're not going to do it again, right? Like, I'm just telling you, want to protect me, but you're not going to kill anybody." I was like, "I can't promise that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Not, it's not.
I'm
And
just
I
not
think
going to
that
do
that's
it."
fair though. As long as they're honest and they're like not
Right.
gonna promise things they can't keep true.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't
And then everybody
pretend.
else is like, "Dante, what are you doing?" It's like, well,
He
it's
is
bound to
being
happen.
authentic in himself, and that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
He's like, "Honestly, you should have seen it coming. It's on
Right.
you that you didn't know I was going to do that.
I mean, you shouldn't be surprised, right?
You shouldn't be
Like
surprised."
you had fair
Absolutely.
warning. There was so much written. So many flags were red flying. Like you should have just known it was there.
Right. You should have known. You should have just known. I mean, he's the most like open about it. But I think I do the, touch or die thing pretty much in every single book because I
Mhm.
do have that need of that ultimate protection. Like, I don't care who you are, you come near her and you die. You know what I mean? You did something to her, that's it.
Gonna kill them all? I like it. Burn the world down. It's already on
Burn it.
fire, so just
Burn
keep it up.
Protection is a big thing. It's a big theme in my books. Like the guy needs to be protective. He can't allow anything to happen to her. And if something happens to her, it's because there's just no nothing anybody could do. You know what I mean? Maybe he wasn't there or something like that. But, it's definitely the one who would just, he'll die. He doesn't give a fuck, but, she'll be safe. I need that. I can't have one of these characters. Like right now, I'm listening to this book and it's really good. I'm loving this story. But she like sees her ex in whatever, and he hadn't realized that she was like with the other, with whoever the villain was, right?
Mhm.
Now they're together, and he's like, his ego is hurt because if he loved her, he wouldn't have treated her like that. So he's going off on her, right? And then she tries to talk, and he grabs her hands. In this book, MC, the villain, the villain that's now her love, he's like holding back because he's letting her deal with it. I'm like, what do you mean? Not until he tries to like insult her, that's when he steps in. But for me, the second the guy touched her hand, like grabbed her hands so that she couldn't like move forget it. That's done. Like at least 3 people died.
3 of them are
At
dead.
least 3 of them were gone.
Done.
Him and whoever was close to him. Forget about it. Just kidding.
So do you have
To
a
put her hands
favorite
on her? No.
audiobook
Sorry.
narrator that you follow? Is there a favorite voice you have?
Not really. I have heard amazing narrators, but I don't have the time. I guess I don't do like the whole let me follow this person and see every single book they've done. I don't do that. I don't do that with authors either, which is bad because obviously I want people to do that with me. But I don't really do that. I like variety, I guess. So I just go for like, the books, and if they call to me, I just read them. There have been narrators that are really bad, but I couldn't tell you their names because my mind doesn't keep names. My mind forgets names about everything. So, but yeah.
There's certain readers that I like, and I do enjoy when I find out that like a book I want to read is narrated
It's
by
by that
them.
person.
And
Yeah, I
I'll
can
be
see
like,
that.
"Ooh, do I want to read it or do I want to listen to him?" Like, it's like, which way do I want to
Yeah.
go?
Especially when it's a male narrator, right? Like there
Yeah,
are guys that really do that voices like really good. You're like,
yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
yes,
I have a
yes,
handful of favorites. Yeah, that I'm just like, whew.
that's
I'm like, all
awesome.
right, that's a good voice for you, friend. Do you
The guy
think
that's doing the voice from the current book, he's really good. He's really, really good. I like the way I could tell you who they are because I could look at it. But
yeah.
she does male voices really good too. What I don't like about her is that she repeats the voices. And to me, that's a no-no. Because if you already gave us particular tone and,
Mhm.
whatever to the MC, to the male character, you can't repeat it with somebody else. Because then when I hear it again, I'm gonna think it's the character speaking, and his voice is supposed to be special. You know what I mean? Like he's supposed to be like the most beautiful voice you can make. So, and I know that's hard. Trust me. I know I don't do it. I know narrating is hard with all the personalities and all the characters you have to portray. But like if these people are professionals, like be careful with those things. You know what I mean? It's like, don't do that to me. Don't mix the voices up because I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely can see that. I like the
Mm.
dual narrations. I like the
I
whole
love them.
I think
I
there's
love the
also,
dual
I mean,
narrations
I'm
too.
sure there's other companies that do it, but I know that the main one that I know of is that graphic audio where it's like a movie in your mind and it has like all the sound
Mhm.
effects and like 80 different
Yeah.
characters. And like, those are the ones that I really go for because my ADHD gets the best of me. But if somebody different talks every time, then like I'm really
Yeah.
focused in. So like, I really
Right.
like that, like multiple person speaking. And I think that's where I've found multiple voices that I like, just hearing
Yes.
so many different voices go through.
Mhm.
Sorry, my dog now has the zoomies at whatever time of night.
It's okay.
She's like, let me have the zoomies through the whole, no, not the whole house. I'm sorry, just the living room where I'm sitting.
Just the living
So,
room. Just
just
where
the
you
living
are.
room. She could go to my bedroom where it's completely open and nobody is at, but nope, we're going to come in here.
Because she wants to be with you. She wants to
She
be where you
does.
are.
She does. So do you think that love in books is supposed to feel safe, or does it need to feel just a little dangerous?
I mean, I think it really depends on what kind of world the author has created. And I'm going to explain why. Because if it's the romance is just about, if the story is just about the romance, you know what I mean? Like the plot is secondary, then there might not be that danger that comes between them or that's constantly there, right? Making it more interesting. If they're too focused on the romance, if they're too focused on the plot, then you don't really have romance. So it's kind of like, I do like it when they have the high stakes, right? Like we maybe can't be together. Like we're together right now, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow kind of thing. Um, so it doesn't get boring too.
Mhm.
Um, I have done the couple that when they come together, and that's it. They're together till the end, and it's beautiful. But I feel like if you have that, then the plot and everything else that's happening needs to be so strong that even if they're already together and you know that like that's it, they're together, they still need to battle so many things, right? There's still so many dangerous things that they're going through that, it still makes it treacherous, the fact that they're together. It's not just like, oh, it's a happily ever after in the first book, right? Like it has to be a little bit of everything. But I love the tension. I love I love oh my God, I saw him or I can't see him or what's going to happen or like, I need that. I don't know, if everybody loves that, but I need that. Like, what's going to happen now?
Right, right, of course. So, okay, talking thinking about your writing and interviews that you've done, what is something that you wish people would ask you or talk to you about that they never ever
Mm. Huh. That's a good question. Um, what is something that I wish people would ask me? I don't know. I mean, I think something I'm proud of that people never ask is, and not because I'm special, but because that's just how it comes to me, how I come up with the stories or how the stories come to me.
Mhm.
I think I've never been asked that, how I create the worlds or how those things come to be. And for me, it's special because they usually come from my dreams. Like, I usually have dreams about what, a scene specifically or something like that. And to me, that's so like special, right? Like, it's,
Mhm.
like I wake up and then the world just starts forming in my mind. I was like, huh, like that dream really left like a mark in me. You know what I mean? So I guess that's something interesting that nobody
Yeah,
ever
that is
asks.
really unique. Yeah. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Thank
So,
you.
I'm also really curious, in your worlds, does power feel like something your characters control or something that's controlling them?
Mm, both. It really depends, I guess, on what position they're in, right? What kind of abilities they have and what they're supposed to do with those abilities. But I think it's not realistic to have somebody who gets powers and all of a sudden they're a master at it, right? Like they have an ability and all of a sudden they just know how to use it. Or to have somebody who is struggling with the powers and they never get a hold of them. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like there has to be a process, just like in real life.
Right.
If you start something new, maybe you don't know it, you might mess up, you might hurt people, you might hurt yourself. But there has to be a point in which something clicks inside you and you realize how you can wield that power, what you can do with it and what triggers that inside you, even if it's something that's maybe going out of control and you can't handle. There has to be a point in which you say, okay, well, what's triggering it? What's happening? Is it my emotions? Is it, my hurt? Is it this or that? And then that's something that also is gonna allow the character to it's going to give him depth or give her depth, and it's going to allow them to grow because as they realize those things and they start using them to their advantage, right? To become the person or the savior or whoever they need to be,
Mhm.
then um that's really giving them, it's showing who they're really going to become, how well they deal with the situations. But to me, it has to be a process. It can't be it can be like all good and perfect, and she can be completely powerful. There has to be weaknesses. Even when they already manage their power completely, it can be unlimited, right? Like it can't be like they can't do everything they just wanted. Like there has to be a limit. There has to be, um, draining your energy, doing all of these things, whatever it is that you're doing. So for me particularly, it has to be a process. It has to be like a little, it's a climb, right? You start here, you start with a struggle, you start with this, discovering what you can do, what you cannot do until you get to a point where you can really dominate what it is that you do. But even then, there has to be limits. There has to be roadblocks to what you can do, because otherwise it's like, okay, just like, why do you need help? Why do you need support? Why do you need your bestie or the guy that's also powerful that's next to you if you could do it all? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like,
Right.
where does the rest of that world that surrounds you come in if you're just all powerful and can just take care
Right.
of everything without anybody's help?
I'm a firm believer that nobody should be an island, right?
Right.
Like we all need something or someone or some kind of
Exactly.
support or backup system around you. So there's something
Exactly.
about romanticy where there's this form of escapism, but also, weirdly reflective of real life. Like there's political systems, there's
Yes.
a lot of wars, there's a lot of power hierarchies, the different, levels of power, things along those lines. So do you feel like you're escaping when you write, or are you processing when you write?
I'm to say both. I want to say escaping because, again, we go back to even though you have things that are from the real world that are happening, that you're reflecting in the story, you also have the whole fantastical side, right? So you have the shifters and the fae and the witches and the healers, and everybody's going to allow you to be in that world. But at the same time, I think incorporating those things like, the politics and on all of that, and having them be resolved, again, getting that justice of whatever's going on in that world is allowing you to process and say, okay, I'm not getting this in real life, but I'm getting it here. Here we're seeing clearly who the bar guy is and why he's doing these things and how this is hurting people, how these power grab and the slaving of people and all of these things are happening. But then you also get to see, those same slaves rising up. You know what I mean? Those people
Right.
getting together and using their power and using their voices and using all of those things to get out of the situation. So I think it's a split of both, it lets you kind of like relate and be like, oh wow, like I know how desperate or precarious that feels or how lonely that feels, because we're also going through that right now.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it gives you the hope that, if these people were able to find a way through it, you know, it's also gonna, and right now it's a perfect example. You know what I mean? It's like you need to keep that hope that things are gonna change and they're gonna get better. I was actually telling my mom the other day, and I go, throughout history, evil has never won. Never. There has been horrible things, terrible things that have happened in the world, but bad evil has never won. It's never surpassed. It's never survived. It's never stayed. It has been temporary. Like, as cliche as it sounds, good has always won throughout history. Like, it's not something that you are wanting to happen. It's literally documented, We've had horrible times, but so we need to, I guess, hold on to that and
Hmm.
know that however bad something is going, the same thing is going to happen. Evil will never persist. It'll just be a phase. It'll just be another chapter in history, and then, the good will win again, and then you'll be relaxed. Then you'll be like,
All gonna go.
oh, thank God,
We won't be on fire
thank the
anymore.
goddess.
So when we have someone step into your books, what do you want them to feel first? Is it that tension piece? Is it the wonder? Is it the danger of what's going on within this, romantasy world, within that paranormal piece? Like, what is it that you're hoping that they, vibe onto as soon as they get in there?
That's an easy one for me. Actually, the world. I want them to experiment the world because I'm a very visual person and I write visualizing. Like I said, when the stories come to me, they come in a dream. Like there are scenes, there are movie playing in my mind. And when I write, that's exactly how it plays. I am just typing out what I'm seeing. So when I write a world, and that not only includes like the little description of the world, which yes, I want people to experiment that. Like if I am, I'm explaining what the winter forest is in that Fey land, you know what I mean? I want them to feel like they're there, like they can see, and they can feel everything that I'm describing, but also how that affects them if they were there. You know what I mean? Like how that is affecting the situation that they're in. If they're hurt and they're in the middle of a freaking winter forest, you know what I mean? They're
Right.
freezing their ass off instead, on
Right.
top of
Right.
being hurt. You know what I mean? If there's danger around and creatures and things like that. So I'm very big in world building. Again, not to say just description, but how that affects the character. Because a lot of people think the world building is just saying the house was blue and the trees were green. But world building is explaining what their belief system is, if there are gods, if there are goddesses, if they believe in them or not, because they lost their way, or they just don't believe them because of everything that's happened, if they lost their parents, if they didn't, how all of those things affect them in where they are at that moment, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I do want people to just feel like they're part of the world, like they literally stepped into that world and they're like, holy shit, like they can see it and they can feel it and they can feel that same like anxiety, or the same like happiness or the same danger that the character is feeling when something's happening. Like when I'm writing, I am feeling it. You know what I mean? Like I can't just write it, just like no, like I'm writing a battle scene and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like if it's a heartbreaking scene, I am bawling my eyes out. Like I am just, and my heart is in it. Like I am in the world when that's happening.
Does it
And
get
if I am
uncomfortable to
not
write those
doing that,
spicy scenes?
yes, I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, I have to feel it. I have to be inspired. And it's funny that you say that because I'm writing the second book in my series right now, um Throne of Storms and Dragons, and there has to be a romantic scene. There has to be a love scene, and I haven't written for 3 days because I'm not inspired. I can't just write to write. I have to feel it in order for me to hopefully insert that feeling in there, so that when you read it, you're like, oh wow, you know what I mean? It's like you
Right.
feel that touch too. Like I
Yeah.
just don't want to describe it. I just don't want to say, oh yes, he grabbed her, and no, I want you to be like, he grabbed her and he pulled her in, oh my god, because that's what I
Right.
like feeling also when I'm reading.
Yeah, those are my favorite books, the ones where, like, I'm reading and I get secondhand embarrassment or, like, my stomach
Right,
drops
right.
or my, like, like, I'm just, like, so sucked in and I'm like, "Holy shit, did that
Yes,
just happen?"
exactly.
Like, I can't believe that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So when you're building your worlds, is there ever a point where they feel bigger than you are? Like, you're just trying to keep up with, like, what's happening as you're
All the
building it?
time.
Okay.
All the freaking time, because my characters have a life of their own. Like I'm not I don't know how to say, when it comes to authors, I'll explain it this way, maybe you'll understand. When it comes to authors, we always say that there's three types, right? There's the planner, there is the pantser, which is the one that just goes by the seam of their pants. You know what I mean? It just goes whatever. And then there's the planter, which is kind of like in the middle. So they kind of know where things are gonna go. So there is a plan in their head of what things need to happen, but they're also going by the seam of their pants. Like they're just going by whatever is happening at the moment, and that's it. And that's me. I'm right in the middle. So when I start a story, sometimes I start the story like I haven't even started writing, and I already know how the first book is going to end, and maybe how the second one is going to end, and maybe how the third one is going to end too. Like I already know how all the whole story is going to end, and I know key things that are going to happen, but I have no idea how it's going to get there. Right? Like it just is your guess is as good as mine how I'm going to get to those points, and that's usually what happens. So when I am in the middle of that, my characters just they take over. They are just, I'm just writing their story. I'm just listening to what they're telling me and like putting it there. And sometimes I want to do one thing and I'm like, but this needs to happen here. Shut up. I'm doing this in the middle. I was like, okay, sorry, just do it. I'm just here typing whatever you do.
Does the ending ever change? for you? Like, you start out knowing that this is what's gonna happen, and then does
And
that
that's
ever
what's gonna
not
happen.
happen?
Yeah. No, 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 never. There can be changes to it, but if from the beginning I know that that's the end, that's the end. There's no moving heaven or earth to change it. Like, it's not just not gonna happen. Like, I know that's what. But there have been important things that have changed. Like, I had this one book where it was dragon shifters, and the father was supposed to die in the final battle. Like, he fights with them and everything, but at the end he dies. And when that moment came and I was in there, I was like, I can't do it. Like, I just can't do it. Like, I can't do that to them, Like, I can't take their father away, and I can't take, like, he just reunited with his wife after I don't know how many years, like with their mother, the kids, and like I can't do it. I can't do it. And I couldn't do it. So he was supposed to die the whole time, and he didn't die because I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Feel that. I read one recently that I couldn't finish, and it was disappointing. It's a very, very popular series, and it was the 3rd installment, and I DNF'd it, and I was really just disappointed because I didn't like the turn the characters made. I didn't feel like it kept the same cadence as the first 2 books in the series.
Right.
And in an interview, the author had stated that before she even started the series, she knew the end of the 3rd book. And so then I just kind of wondered if it was like a forced way to make that ending occur for the end of that 3rd book, right? Like, and so then that's where I was just
Be
curious, like, is it like when you get to that point, is there a way to deviate from that ending, or do you just know that that's what's happening?
mean, I'm going to be honest. It hasn't happened to me, like the complete full ending that needs to change. But like I just explained in that particular part, it just didn't feel right anymore. And I think as the author, you need to know who your characters are, not just at the beginning or in the middle, but throughout the entire series. So it still needs to feel good. If it felt forced to the reader, it's because you forced it. Like, if it feels forced for you, the reader is going to feel that too. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? If it feels incomplete to you, the reader is going to know because that energy is going to stay in the book, you know? So
Right.
I think maybe she got to a point in which she was like, maybe these could be, but then she already had all of that plan that was already in place. You know what I mean? Um, it also it's very important to notice that I'm an indie author, so I could do whatever the hell I want with my books. You know what I mean? If I go to the middle of the book and I decide the story changes completely to the other end because something happened and I'm like, oh crap, this is a completely different story what I thought. I can do it. But if you are with a publisher, like with a big company or whatever, and this is the story that you sold to them, whether you like it or not, that's how it needs to end. So if she got to a point and she was like, this is now what needs to happen, now I think that whatever, and the publisher was like, nope, this is what you said was gonna happen, and that's how it needs to happen, then she had to make it happen. Does that make sense? So she
Yeah.
couldn't, you know, if she realized that those things needed to change, because their characters weren't those people anymore, or it wasn't going to be, it wasn't going to satisfy or whatever she had intended from the beginning. And she had somebody behind her that said no, then it's tough because there's not much she could do. She had to finish it the way that she intended, at the beginning.
That makes a lot of sense. I've just read a lot of feedback that had the same feelings, right? Like a lot of
Mhm.
commentary on that specific book. And I was
A lot
just
of
like,
people feel the same way.
yeah. And I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy. Like, because I was like,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. I'm not the only one who felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really weird. I love the first 2. Like, I inhaled them and like, I can't even get through this
And then
one.
the
Like,
third one, you couldn't even.
yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not even looking forward to the 4th one. Like, this is really disappointing. And like, I had such
Yeah.
high hope. And so, but you mentioned being an indie author, and that is something that like we hold like super close and super dear to us. Like our like biggest like platform is supporting indie authors. Like
And we
that's in
appreciate
our
it.
heart.
Thank you
That is
so
in our
much.
heart of hearts. Like we never want to ever not support indie authors, right? Love to all like the high end authors and all the,
Right.
big
Exactly.
published authors, but they have a great, wonderful bubble or budget for publishing
Yes.
and
And
for
support system.
marketing and for, all these
Yeah.
things. that aren't there for the smaller book community and the
For us.
smaller
Yeah.
art community and, for all
Yeah.
those pieces. And so, like, here at Slowburn, like, that's always been, like, our drive has been that indie community. And here where we live in the Midwest, there's definitely a huge indie community where they support each
Oh,
other
that's
and they have
awesome.
organizations. Are th are there things like that where you live? Do you have an indie
No,
author community that supports you
at
or
all. At all. No, not at all. Where I live, I'm the only author, period, in the area.
Okay.
Um, and then I don't really have being an indie author can be very isolating, unfortunately. You don't have a support system unless, you have a lot of friends and a lot of people that followed you and continued the journey with you.
Mhm.
But even then, it's difficult because those people who were your friends, they change throughout the way and then they expect different things from you or whatever, you know what I mean? You can end up, even if you started with like a huge following of people that were, support and promised to be there for you the entire time, as your
Right.
career changes and evolves and, as you change, they might leave you or you might leave them because you realize that you really can't be, holding all this together and on top of it all having to like keep people happy or do whatever it is that you need to do.
Right, right.
And being an indie author means, in many ways, you're doing everything yourself. I understand that I do more than most people do because I'm a designer as well. I do my own covers. I edit my own books. I format them. I create the interior design, the special editions. My book from start to finish, it's handled and done by me. Everything, absolutely everything. I don't hire out anything. There's a lot of people that do have the ability to just hire out everything else that they need.
Mhm.
But I do my own marketing. I do everything. And a lot of indie authors do their own marketing as well. And marketing, I would say, is like the worst possible part of it. Because it's so tiring, and all we wanna do is write, you know what I mean? Like, all we wanna
Right.
do is be writing the book, continue writing the book, but I have to stop, and then I have to dedicate a whole day to designing and creating posts and see, what's trending and what isn't trending and what music to use in the post, and, it has to be aesthetic, so it has to look pretty. It's not just putting your information out there and adding the cover, and is the cover legible, and is the font the right size, and is it the right font? It's just exhausting. It can be exhausting. So yeah, it is, um, it's a long road. It requires a lot. I don't really have a community who supports me. I found people along the way who were really nice and helped me along the way, but everybody has their own lives, their own things going on as well, right? So I have been lucky to find people along the way, but I don't. I am a one-woman band. I do everything myself.
So here in the Kansas City metro area, that's kind of where we're part of here. There's Casey Book Beat, which is a nonprofit organization that celebrates and promotes the vibrant literacy community
Oh,
in
that's
and around
awesome.
the city. So they have like a biannual catalog featuring local authors, small
That's
businesses,
amazing.
local literacy content. They also organize community events, collaborate with community businesses. They bring stories to life and build community around them. There's also the Dark Flame Society that also is
Wow.
local that does I believe she dabbles in some publishing as well as events and indie author promotion. And, they all work together to find, the cover artists and they work
That's
together
amazing.
to find their, you know, audio um, people, the people to do their audiobooks. I know
That's amazing.
Ivy, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but they call her the queen of the reverse harem, right? Because that's all she
That's so
writes, the
cool.
reverse
That's
harem
so
stuff,
cool.
and, she is very much, she said as the indie author, she said that she saved for 3 years for her audiobook to be done because she wanted
Yes.
specific authors or
Yeah.
specific voices to do
The
it.
narrators, yes.
Yeah. And that it was, a labor of love because she
Yeah.
wanted to own all
It's
the
an
rights
effort, it's a sacrifice.
and she wanted to make sure that Ivy Cole, that's her name. And she wanted to make sure, or wide shoes. She's the queen of wide shoes. I'm sorry. And she wanted to make sure that she was able to have exactly who she wanted, what she
Of
wanted,
course.
like how she wanted, and make it perfect for, like, she had heard this particular couple. I believe their last name is Bordeaux, is what she had told us at an
Okay.
event we were at together. And she said she fell in love with their voices and she reached out to them to find the price. And she saved up for 3 years because she wanted them because they were perfect for her book. And and it was a labor of love for her to
It
put
was?
this
Yes, it
all
is.
together. But yeah, like Casey Book Beat and the Dark Flame Society, we do like Faye balls and things here, like very
That's
much
amazing.
like a
Do you
really
need a
great.
roommate? I'm just kidding. I'm gonna
I
move
do
over
have
there,
a spare
girl.
bedroom. I do have
I
a
am
spare
going to
bedroom.
move over there.
You wanna live in the KC area. But I always try to tell people, like, this is such a great indie community that
That's amazing.
I always try to tell people, I'm like, if you don't have something, like, try to reach out to them. Though this is for the Kansas City metro area, like, they
Right,
can at
right.
least, like, give you ideas of, like, how to start in your area, because I know that they're also trying to start, like, a pop-up brick and mortar so that
Ooh,
they
that would be
can,
amazing.
um sell, like, the people within their community's books
Right.
around. Um,
That's
but
beautiful.
we always try to get a table at their events when we can so that we can support them. They're really
That's
great. We
awesome.
try to but, like, we tend to try to have only indie authors on the show just because, again, like, I love the high-end authors, like, I think they're great, like, hear me say, they're all wonderful. I think literature is great on all aspects, whether
Beautiful.
you like
Yes.
history, whether you like romance, whether you like sci-fi, whether you like, whatever it
Yeah,
is,
I
your
agree.
jam, I'm here for it for you. Um and again, I read popular mainstream books, right? Like I've read the ones that are turning into movies. I've read Butcher and Blackbird. It's a cute book. Like it's funny. I've read, the Plated Prisoner series. I've read Fourth Wing. I've read Akatar. I've read all
Yeah,
the ones that are mainstreamed, but
right.
they have all the things they need to be
To make it
mainstream.
there, to get there, yeah, to soar. Mhm.
Yeah, and so, like, anything we can do for the indie author community is so close to our heart. We are also currently trying to put together an app where we can get as many indie authors in one spot so
That's
that,
awesome.
like, there's a database where people can just find their books and
Wow, that's
know when they're
awesome.
coming out and, if they're gonna be places around, certain areas, and,
Yeah,
right now, it's just still in the development phase, and there's, like, 10
of
people looking
course.
at it to give
It
me
takes
feedback.
time, yeah.
Yeah, just to give me feedback and be like, "This is good, this is bad. Ooh, why do you have this page there?" But there will also be, at some point, like, an author board just so, like, authors can connect together to just be like, "Hey,
That's
we're here. What are we
awesome.
doing?" Because I think it's important, right? And
Yeah.
then the indie authors too, or the indie artists too, the ones that can do those book covers, the ones that can do, because I know AI is a
Oh my god,
big
don't even.
thing in the indie community right now. It is a hot, hot
It's
topic.
horrible.
Um,
It's
I
horrible.
I I don't have an issue with it, but I also only use it to like correct my papers or write emails to people that I don't feel like
I mean,
writing.
here's
So
the
like
thing with
I
AI.
don't use it like
Here's the thing with AI. It's not all bad, right? There's different let's say ramifications, different levels, different things. The AI that we hate is the AI that is robbing people of their artistry. meaning is using, books to compile new stories, is using existing designers' work to make a new character for somebody who goes, oh, I want this and that, and I want it to be this, and I want it to be a dragon rider or whatever, and then all of a sudden you see, because you literally see it, it has the face of an actor or an actress. It looks just like them, but it's the character that you ask them to do, because it's stealing people's images, is stealing copyrighted material to create something new. That's the AI that sucks, and that's the AI that's horrible. And unfortunately, there is nothing set in place. There's no laws, there's no limits, there's no parameters set in place for AI not to be able to do that. So the companies are doing literally whatever they want. The
And
AI
one of my
companies.
professors
Now,
have said that it's just AI is as smart as we make it, right? And that basically it's just a spider webbed system. So once you put in your parameters, it just creeps through the internet, weaving
yes,
its
and
way
steals
through to
everything it needs to
pull,
create it.
right, to pull
Exactly.
all of those things. And that's where it says at the bottom of a lot of it,
Right.
like it can make mistakes because it will take 2, 3 websites and combine it into one
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
So, like, when
Exactly.
people are
Put them
writing
together.
papers or whatever for school and they're citing a source that doesn't exist, it's because it combined 3 to make something that's not real.
Okay, but
Like,
I have thoughts. I have thoughts about that.
have all the time.
Because if we've and I'm gonna sound like the oldest lady right now. It's ridiculous. I can't even believe these words are gonna come out of my mind, by my mouth.
Listen,
But
I'm from the library age where we still had the little pull-out drawer card
right,
catalogs, okay?
exactly. But here's the thing. I mean, if you're a kid, if you're a teenager, or if you're a high schooler or you're a college student or whatever, doesn't know the difference between what's fake and what's real on the internet, then if they don't know how to do research, it's not on AI, it's on them. Because doing research is not Googling something and reading the AI response and then going with, oh, that's my source. That's not a source. The source is going to the actual websites, seeing where that information is coming from, using your actual rational mind to say, this doesn't sound right, right? Or, oh, I didn't know that. Let me see if it's true. Google again. Is this how this works? And then you'll get another response, and then you'll be able to compare them and be like, okay, well, this website, which is by the library of whatever, whatever, or the institution of whatever, says this, and then whoever these people are, say this. I'm going to believe the institution, before believing whoever just sat down to type that monstrosity that's there. So whoever is coming and saying, well, you know, AI meshed up together 3 different websites, and that's what it gave me. Well, I didn't know, well, that's a problem. You didn't know. You didn't look. You didn't search. You didn't make sure that the information that you were getting was correct. So that has nothing to do with AI. Not that I'm defending
Right.
AI. I'm
No,
just
no, no.
saying, it goes back to like your little logic mind, and whether or not you're smart enough to say, I'm going to keep looking, I'm going to keep doing research, or I'm going to verify that what this is telling me, it's true. Because if you're doing that for a paper in the university or in your high school, you want to make sure the information you're putting in there, it's correct. You're not just doing it to fill the paper because you need to give it to the professor or to the teacher with words in it, right? Like with words on it. So, you know, it's also how we use it. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's not just, oh, this program did this, because hello, that's happened throughout our lives. Everything that's been new has been bad. Why is it bad? Because of this or that? Yeah, that's bad. I don't like that. In the
well, it should
case
be
of
used as a
AI,
tool, not as a
yeah, it's
replacement
just a
for
tool. You're not supposed
starters.
to replace your entire brain with it. So if you're using it to help you find typos, that's not bad. It's just a system helping you find typos. Like it's not that deep. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
not that deep. It's just helping you find typos. But if you are doing it to create a character instead of paying an artist to design to draw something for you, and that system is stealing from those from those designers that you could have paid, yes, that is bad. Now, I understand if you're in a position where you can't pay an artist,
Hmm.
because those drawings and those designs, that's time they're putting, that's their effort, that's their mind, that's their creativity. That's going to be expensive. It's not going to be cheap. And if it's cheap, it's not going to be good. Right.
Hey, that's
So,
what we tell people. I used to work in a tattoo parlor, and that's what we used to tell you.
yeah,
Good tattoos aren't
exactly. It's
cheap,
just
and
like,
cheap tattoos aren't good.
they're good. So if you can't do it right now, don't try to cheat the system and cheat those designers that you hope you could work with, because you're insulting them. You're stealing their work to mesh it together and do something that's ridiculous, that looks like it's not even an actual, design, like an actual drawing.
Right.
So if you can't do it right now because you don't have the money, then don't do it right now. Save the money and then go back to that person and be like, listen, I want to hire you to do this, or learn to do it yourself. And then you can try to do it yourself, which is basically what I did. When I started this, when I became an author and started writing, I was a personal assistant to another author. And I was kind of like seeing, things. I had already written 2 books, but nothing was published. I started to see everything that really took to put a book together and to set it through her, because, I would contact everybody and hire and do this and pay and whatever, do all these things for her. And I was like, whoa, like it takes all of this. And I wasn't in a position in which I could hire somebody. So what did I do? I taught myself. I was like, well, I still want it and I don't want to wait and I can hire them now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to learn how to do it. And I learned how to edit and I learned how to design and I learned how to do it. And I learned it so well that I created a business and I started doing it for other authors who couldn't pay the exorbitant amount of money that other people were paying. So, I charged less for something that still looked professional. And I helped a lot of authors and I'm very proud of that. But it came from the need that I had to be able
Mhm.
to do it for my books, because I was just starting out. I didn't have $500 to pay on on a book cover, or $1,000 to pay an editor, or $500 to pay for just a cover reveal or anything. I didn't have the money for everything
Right.
that a single book requires, just to put
Right.
it out there. Like, people
Right.
don't realize what it really takes to be, an indie author. All the money's coming from you, all the effort is coming from you. Everything is just, you're raw dogging everything. If you're not doing it yourself, you know what I mean? It's not happening.
Right.
There's
I
a
mean,
big
it's
company behind you. So it came from the need to be able to do it for my books. And then, I just kept bettering myself and learning more and more and more until I was able to actually do a business and help everybody else that was in the same situation because they couldn't do it. So there is an alternative. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not going to create a business, but you could either try to learn if you could do that yourself, or just like the lady did with the audiobook, just save the money, contact the artist. How much is it going to be? Save the money. And then eventually you're going to be able to hire them and get exactly what you wanted and have your dream come true. But just going to AI because it's easy, fully knowing that those kind of things are bad, it's just, if you're just being lazy, okay, I understand if you don't have the money, but do you have the morals? You know what I mean? You have the money, but do you have like the integrity to know that this is what's happening and you use it anyway?
Mhm. And I mean,
Because
I
if
get
you're
that
you
too.
just
I I also can't draw a straight line with a ruler, so, like, I love people who can do art, right? Like,
yeah,
and, we've admitted in the past, like, some of our posts have been done with AI at the very beginning when we were first starting out, because it was in the
yeah,
middle of a lot of transitions and we were just trying to get stuff posted, and somebody had mentioned something on our posts about it, and we were like, "We 100% acknowledge that that's what this is." Like,
yeah,
we give
right.
AI the credit, right? Like, we're not pretending this is ours. Like, I'll
Exactly. But
never
also
pretend.
before people realize how deep it went. Because at the
Right.
beginning it was just a new tool. Everybody was using it. It was just a new thing until you realize how it was processing information, what it was doing. And again, there are different levels, there are different tools to AI. So, it really depends. I mean, if you have no other way to do it, you have no other way to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to judge anybody. I just rather not. I just
Right.
rather wait, look for another solution, wait, try to do something or whatever. Because I lived it as a designer too, and even when I was designing for somebody else and I was looking in the same place, in the same stock photo website where I usually purchase all my things and all my licenses and everything, all the elements that I used for the design. And then I started seeing things and the things that I started buying, they were made with AI. And at the beginning, it was very difficult to notice, to realize whether it was AI or not. Like you were just
Right.
looking at something and it looked nice and you thought it was actually an artist doing it. So, you can't blame everybody, for using,
Right.
especially at the beginning, because we just didn't know what it was, you know? Now we're like really in it and we really know what it is. So if
Yeah.
somebody keeps using it, I mean, do you, but I'm not going to use it. You know what
And
I
some
mean?
of it's hard to tell.
It
And
is.
some of it
Yeah.
is
Some
really
are
hard to
very
find and
hard,
hard to tell. Like, you
very
don't know
hard.
what's what anymore. So,
Also, there's a lot of shady people who are doing things with AI and are selling it as though they are the ones doing it.
also
So
that.
it's like, who do you believe? How do you know? It's very tricky. It's very tricky.
Well, and then, like, so for a while, I looked at doing, like, voiceover stuff or audiobook stuff, but I kept getting hit with all of these, audition here so that your voice can be part of AI, and I was like, "Absolutely not."
No, they're just gonna grab your voice and then start doing. Well, Amazon is doing it right now. They're doing what do they call it? I don't know what they call it right now. But it's they put a note in your books, like inside the system where we upload the books and everything. It says try no this or whatever, and it is an automated voice, is an AI voice reading your book. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's crazy. It's and I was
Yeah,
just like, "Absolutely not." Like, if I wanna read the book, I wanna read the book, like,
yeah,
because I'm not a writer. I don't like I don't have the ability to put the beautiful pictures in my brain onto paper like other people, and
yeah,
that's okay with me, but I still would love to have the ability to bring stories to life, right? So,
right.
and so, I've looked for different ways to do that, and this podcast is one of them, and, look working on the app is another one and things like that. But when all of those, like, "Oh, you've been asked to interview for this, or you've been asked to interview for that," and it was all for,
Yeah.
like, these AI options. I was like, I feel like no.
Right.
I feel like I'm good." Like, and it's just so hard to determine anymore, like, what's real, what's not real. So, it's just an
Yeah, it's
interesting.
really, really hard. Some things now there's things that I can tell, but there's still a lot of things that I have no idea whether, and if I don't feel comfortable, I'm like, damn it, I can't
I
use
know.
it because I know, yeah, I don't, I like, there's no way for me to know. And I don't want to risk it for somebody to be calling me out for something that I am not comfortable doing, that I would never do willingly, consciously.
Mhm.
That's like insane, So it's like I rather, and then there's a lot less elements and things that you can use because everything is AI. So it's like if I'm not sure whether this is AI or not, and I decide not to use it, then I have a lot less options, for what it is that I want to do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not that many options, which
So
sucks.
so sorry, my dog has decided I'm not paying enough attention. So we have, like, one kind of final chaotic question that we end the evening with, and then I try to throw it out there so that there's not a lot of time to think about it, right? Like, I just go to
Oh my
throw it
God, you're
out
making me
there.
nervous,
So
woman.
I know. Steph always hates this part because she's always like, "What?" Um, but this is where I use AI, so I don't have time to think so that I can also answer it. So, like, this is where I, like, throw it in
Okay.
and I'm like, "Give me one final random question," because then I'm like, "Give me this," so then I don't have time to think about it, and then I can also play because then that's only fair, right? Because
Right, right, right. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
and I'm just like, "This is the only way it's fair because then I don't know." Like, one time it was like, "If you could put different animals together, what would it be?" And we had, like, an author who did it in, like, 2 seconds, and I was like, "Holy crap."
Wow.
How did you come up with that?
My mind's not that fast, honey. I don't know what to tell you.
No, it's not.
I
And
don't
I
know
have
what to
had
tell you.
whiskey, so it's even slower now.
Mine is half asleep because I had wine. I just finished it. Oh, goodness.
I had some blackberry whiskey and some lemon lime soda. So that's where we're at. Okay.
Okay. Shoot.
Let's see. The internet is going slow because why not?
Of course.
Why not? Why not? Sorry, I keep coughing. I have had like
You okay there?
for like 2 months. It's awful. I got the flu and then that lingered.
Oh,
It
you poor
just
thing. That's
sat there
horrible.
and lingered.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the worst. And I'm such a baby when I get sick. It's like, I don't want to. I play like that whole I'm a strong, independent woman. Okay.
Until you get sick.
Yeah. Then I get sick. All right. Here's your song.
Okay.
Or your song. Your question. If your life suddenly had a background soundtrack that everyone else could hear, what song is playing right now?
Oh my God. I don't even know. Right now, like in this particular moment, which song will be playing? Girl. Well, you know what? Yes, I do know. And it's probably, I'm not that kind of person, so don't think that I'm just like stuck up or anything. But it's because of what we were talking about, of just being in this point in my life where I finally know who I am and, give myself my place and everything. So it'd probably be, You Should See Me in a Crown from, is it Billie Eilish?
Yes, I believe that's who that does.
Yeah, it would probably be that one. It's actually a song that I use for inspiration when I'm writing my girl Maeve, because she's like, this is me and this is who I am or whatever. But I think so because, it's just I'm finally in that place. You know what I mean? Or I'm just I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm just me. Probably that.
But the song that popped into my head when I read that were the lyrics to Katy Perry's Roar. That I am the
Ooh,
tiger.
nice.
And yeah, that's what popped into
We
my head.
coordinate, girl. We coordinate.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah,
So
that's good. I like that one too.
that's my song for that's my background music.
That's
So that
it.
feels like a perfect place to leave it for tonight. Stephanie, thank you so much for hanging out with me and for bringing
Thank
me
you so much for
into
inviting me. I was so
your
excited.
world and letting all of us sit with your magic, the chaos, and everything in between. If you're listening, go check out our books, step into those stories, experience them for yourself, and spend some time in worlds where magic, power, and relationships don't play it safe. And as always, thank you for being here, for listening, and continuing to build this space with me. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and keep chasing the stories that stay with you long after the last page. This is Slowburn, where we go deep, move slow, and let the fire speak. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yes.